How much of that blueberry you got left? That looks nice.
Oh, it is herbaceous.
Is that a hybrid?
What are you smoking? Hello, and welcome into this week's episode of Leafly's What Are You Smoking podcast. I'm your host, Will Hyde, aka the Avid Dabber, and I'm joined with me in studio today by my lovely colleague and smoking partner, Bailey Ron. Bailey,
Hello.
how you doing?
Good. So stoked to be on this episode.
Yeah, you excited for this one? I am.
So much.
Today we've got an absolutely incredible guest, Shavo, the bassist from System of a Down and founder of new cannabis company 22 Red, is here to talk to us a little bit about his relationship with cannabis and his new brand. And I know me and Bailey have been talking about it all day, Shavo. We're super excited to talk to you about this.
Oh man, I'm very happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me. Can't wait. Let's start this.
Yeah, let's jump right in. So, before we get into 22 Red and all the exciting stuff you got going on there, I'm just curious what your relationship is with cannabis and how do you normally consume and engage with it?
Well, I can give you the whole story. I started smoking around 93, I think, 92, 93. I was 20, 21, maybe it was 94, 95, because I was around 20. I was at my first huge concert. I went to Metallica and Guns N' Roses, and we hadn't smoked, but everyone around me was a smoker. But at that moment, I kind of went, there was people smoking, and I kind of acted like I was going to smoke. I was like, hey, pass that, just for a joke, pass that blunt. And it got passed to me by this man, and I was like, oh man, now my friends are looking like, there he is, he's going to do it. So I did it. And it was just so light because, I'll be honest, weed has been really criminalized, unlocked. It's just really the way my parents and the old country people were, the way they looked at it, and the way I was brought up is it's the devil and it'll make you do cocaine and it's as worse as heroin, and no one really was educated enough to know the benefits of it and the fact that it actually helps with other addictions. It actually prevents them. It helps with medical benefits. It helps with therapy. There's so much that it helps with, right? And I didn't ever know any of that. So, but it's good because I do not agree with kids smoking. I kind of think it's something for adults, of course. And so it started there. And soon after that, I met Darren, my guitar player. I'd known him, but we weren't hanging out. We started System. I was managing their first band, Soil. And we started hanging out every day because we had the vision. So we would talk and just smoke. And we'd drive all the way to Alvarado and pick up. This is 24 years ago, 25
wow.
years ago. Yeah, we'd go to Alvarado. We'd buy it from the corner. I'm telling you, there was no hookups. It was like we were kids getting high. Kids meeting 21 years old kid. That's call that a kid still,
Oh, yeah. Still a lot to learn at that age.
So much to learn. But at the time, we knew it all, of course, right?
Without a doubt.
So anyhow, from there, we actually started going even deeper in LA. We'd drive to 52nd Street in San Pedro, and we'd pick up this amazing, that's where Kush started. And it was OG Kush came out of there. And we just I thought it came out of there because that's where our hookup was. So we'd have to drive all the way there from Burbank, Glendale area and stuff in Hollywood, and go out and get it. And so it started like that. And then I became an avid smoker, kind of became a connoisseur, kind of like people are with wine and food. I just love it. I love it, everything about it. I'm kind of a snob when it comes to it, but I still like everything else too. But I am a snob because I know what I like and I know what I have. And that actually started when I went to Amsterdam the first time, second time actually with my band. I was given someone's number and I didn't know who that was, but someone said, this is the guy, man, call this guy. I was all right, because there's all the clubs out there, right? But I still was I want the best. I still want the best. I don't want to go where a tourist gets, I want to get what out. So I got this number, man. It was 5 a.m. We arrived in Amsterdam. This is a cool story. And I called the number. I wasn't about to wait till so this dude picks up, right? And he's like, who is this? And, with his accent. I told him who it was. He has no clue who I am. He's like, man, he goes, who gave you my number? And I'm I told him this dude. He's like, that guy, I don't know that guy very well. I go, I don't know, bro. Anyway, I'm sorry to bother you. I just, we're here. My band is called System of, this is 98. I was my band's called System of a Down, and we're in town for about 4 or 5 days. We got shows near, I just wanted to know if we can, he goes, call me at 9 a.m. And at 9 a.m. I hit him up, and I guess he Googled my ass. He knew who we were. And he said, come down. My first shop is he goes, where are you staying? I told him the hotel I was staying at. He goes, my shop is right downstairs from the hotel. So you make a right, and there, like, what are the odds, right? So I go there, and you know who this guy is or was? It's Aryan Roscan, the strain hunter,
No
the guy that
way.
came up with freaking Super Silver Haze and the White
That's-
Widow. This is the dude, bro.
That's the number you want to call
The
when you land
number
in
one
Amsterdam.
guy in the world. He was the, like, you know, if you watch Scarface, you know, Sosa, that the guy that had that, like, island, you know. Well, this was Sosa of weed, you know what I mean? This is the guy, right? This is the man. So anyways, a friendship was formed, and they were the High Times Cannabis awards were that the High Time, you know, it was happening at that weekend. So they had the tasting of all his harvest, and he moved it earlier so we could go because it wasn't fitting with our schedule because we were leaving to go to another show, you know. So he made it earlier. It was a Thursday. We went and we, like, smoked everything. It was like this big Thanksgiving table in his apartment, and we just, like, bowls and bowls of different flavors. And it was just like, I realized, wow, this is really, like, I like this, and we had to rate them, you know. And
Oh, yeah.
this is actually online. I think you could pull this up on YouTube. If you just punch in System Getting High, I think there's about 10, 15 minutes of that day.
Oh,
gosh,
we're gonna
we
have
need
to
to link
find
to
that.
that.
It's out there. It's out there. And I swear, I mean, it was an experience, and I left there saying, you know, if there is a way, I want to get involved somehow. But, like, there was no thought of America legalizing it at that time. You know what I mean? At that time, it was like, this is a cool dream, you know? So anyway, I went on with my life. I smoke avidly, like the question. I smoke joints. I do have bongs, but I used to smoke a lot more of those. But recently, it's been joints. That's, like, my go-to. And then I also dab. I love sauce, really love sauce, all types, all flavors. So yeah, I mean, I also vape a little bit, but that's when I'm not, I can't smoke for a long time. I'll have a vape with me, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm going somewhere and, you know, I have kids, I can't be stoned high all the time, you know what I mean? There's a time and a place, of course, but I have a passion with it, bro. I love I follow Leafly. I have Leafly. You know what I mean? I go through there just to educate myself on what's out there and strains and all that stuff. So you guys do a good job, man.
Thank you, and it's exciting to hear your passion. Like, it's coming through clearly. Just how much cannabis is a part of your life, and it's funny that one of your first experiences was at a Metallica concert, because the first time I ever, like, publicly smelled cannabis was at a Metallica concert.
There you go.
In the early
was probably
90s, it
Shavo.
may have even been that same tour for all I know. But-
Exactly.
Funny, dude.
Can you just talk about some of the strains that we'll find in the 22 Red pre-rolls or in your line, and kind of how they reflect what you look for in a strain?
Of course. I'd love to talk about that. That's one of my things that I'm so passionate about, the fact that I can introduce things to you, or kind of, you know, for years people ask me, what are you smoking on? And I have specific things. I'm a connoisseur here in the area where I roll my joints. I have over maybe 15 to 18 strains right now that I go throughout the day and week, you know, and then I get more and I switch it up, you know, and then give it to my friends, the old stuff. You know what I mean? So 'cause I'm testing all the time. I mean, it's become that, you know, but I look for originality. I look for something that could feel exclusive, and okay, that for sure. But I'm also looking for good feels. Like, there's a lot of strains that the mixes aren't specifically my liking, where it may be a little too much sativa or a little too much of this and a little too much where you get lethargic. I kind of like to give it all, you know what I mean? I like to, so when I discover something, I kind of try to stick to it. And then that's what I've been doing. That's been my whole thing with this, where because of my networking and because I've met the best people, you know, from Ariane to people down here, I have master growers, and they're willing to, because they know my passion. They know I'm not just this dude that is famous and wants to just bank on the green rush. That's not me. You know, I don't like those people. Those people upset me because they're putting stress in joints and selling it for premium, and it's crazy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and then mine's going to be right next to it for the same price. That's crazy ridiculous, but we're doing that, you know? So one of the strains I'll talk about, like, of course we have our OG, and I've really searched because there's OG everywhere and everyone's got OG, but I wanted something to represent where I can smoke all day. So the mix of it is kind of like, it's not so lethargic where you want to pass out and sleep. You want to actually, you can move on it, but it's not sativa where you're talking a million miles an hour. So yeah, that's our OG. We're calling it 22 OG. It's actually bred by a really cool group called The Originals. They're new, they're coming out. And they're like one of our family, you know, connections here. We always, like, we're with them, you know, constantly. And then there's one strain that in 96 was the last time I tasted that and smelled that. So for 22 years, we've been kind of searching for that just to smoke, not to sell or to have, because I wasn't in this business for like 2 years ago, you know? So I say for 20 years, I've been looking for it, asking all these people, including Arian, which Arian at the time, 20 years ago, where we were in Amsterdam at that day, that dinner, we explained to him about the church. We said, this is called the church, which leads into what I was talking about. So we had this strain in 96 that went away. We called it church because the exhale smelled like frankincense and it was really strong. You can tell the difference in a group smoking. You can have 5 joints lit of different flower. And then this flower comes in and air changes the whole vibe of the room, smell-wise. Feeling-wise, it's a hybrid, so it's not too deep. The THC is not so strong on it, so everyone could smoke it. It's not like it's going to cripple you. So it's really a pleasant smoke. So we've been looking for that. About 2 months ago, I was with one of my guys that's going to exclusively now grow for us. He's someone famous, but I don't want to mention, but he's exclusively one of our people now. We're both intrigued with each other's passion, you know what I mean? That's what it is for me. So anyway, we went into one of his grows. He's like, I have 6 new flowers that I haven't tasted that we're growing, that we're a pheno hunt. Let's taste them together. You're into any of them, it's yours. We'll exclusively grow it for you. And he knows I'm looking for the church, bro. And I don't know, like, 3rd joint in, the room smelled like a Catholic or a Christian church. It was like that frankincense smell. And I couldn't believe it. I got chills all over the place. I jumped on that. And I was like, man, I got teary. I was like kind of emotional. I was like, it's here. We have it. He's like, I can't believe it, because I would tell him. And he was like, I got my eye out. I got my nose out. And there it was. It just happened that we were together when that was discovered. So he's like, it's yours, bro. I'm like, hell yeah. Church 22 years it's been in the making. Like, you know what I mean? Like kind of that. And it just fits with our name because I didn't plan. I'm not calling it 22 just because of the brand. It's actually because it's 22 years ago, the last time I smoked that strain. And I'm so proud for that to be one of the first things we're dropping, which our drop is this Sunday, 11/11, which also turns out like really crazy. I didn't plan on it to be 11/11, which equals 22. So our first launch birthday is is on 11/11, which is really cool. And we're gonna have that, and we're gonna have our OG in pre-rolls for now, and we're gonna have our apparel for pre-order, which will be delivered in less than a week because we have them ready. We just wanted to know how much to have ready. So since it's our first drop, we decided to take orders and then deliver, you know, instead of having them not knowing what size, how many, right?
Yeah. And I was gonna ask you about the streetwear brand or fashion line that's sort of attached to 22 Red, because I know that's another big passion of yours, correct?
Very important. I mean, I think style is not really, it's a lifestyle. It's you wear what makes you feel good, right? Like I wear my cargo or let's say my runner, and I wear a black tee or a white, and it's just basic and makes me feel good to get up. You know what I mean? That's kind of my uniform. I have a uniform. It's just what I chose, this comfort. So I kind of feel like everyone has their own thing, and I kind of wanted to give my take on it. And it's really getting taken well. You know, people are accepting it because it's not all over the place. I don't have branding going like, here you go, big loud colors. It's kind of like the basic colors with the basic minimum branding, so it's cool. But the number one part of it is feels good on you. My partner Mike, who he is the CEO owner of Madewell LA, which is not the brand that makes the clothing. He's the one not the brand that sells the clothing. He's the brand that makes the clothing, and then he manufactures the t-shirts, the hoodies. So if I like a certain fabric, I say make ours in those, and they'll do certain cuts for me, the slender cuts, not the so boxy. So it's more of like apparel than merchandise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
like
definitely know
specifically doing cool little things that others don't do. Like our second run is going to have messages inside the clothing of like 22 facts about the number 22 that might relate to the person wearing it. You know what I mean? Kind of fortune cookie, yes, but not.
I like that.
I don't know. I like cool vibes and like things that others aren't doing. You know, I like to kind of jump on. So, yeah, it's really fun to do. And there's another aspect. I don't know if you were going to ask about the music too. So that came out recently, which was, I'm so happy we can actually do it. Where I'm trying to I'm turning into it. Also, the umbrella of 22 will be also an imprint where I could release all the new music that I've been working on personally by myself with my new partners, and kind of have an avenue to like always drop something and not have to search for a spot. So I decided to have this all come out of one place.
Yeah, it's like one gigantic creative outlet for you, and I think that's incredible.
Yeah, and I mean,
Hell yeah, man.
it seems like there's a lot for people to look forward to. So if they were trying to find, if anyone was trying to find your products or apparel, where should they look for it?
Well, they should follow my IG, Shavo Odadjian, and at 22 Red LA, which is where we daily, hourly, we post about what's going on, what's going to happen right away, and you'll know everything. Also, we have a website, 22red.com. They can go there, and we'll have all the information there. They could sign up on the email list, have stuff sent to them as it happens. We're going to have exclusive drops. Like I said, we have a lot coming, but we decided for the first big thing, we're doing 2 places. We're doing Dr. Green Thumbs in Sylmar, and then we're doing City Compassionate Caregivers in downtown LA. Both those brands, or I should say places, are close to my heart because they've helped me with stuff throughout this whole time of me getting educated on the cannabis world, the business. You know, they kind of been a part of it with me, you know, so I decided to do our birthday bash there. And we're only doing two items, 2 pre-rolls, keeping it easy and steady and not trying to throw up on the world, just kind of give it a little by little, you know.
No doubt. And then build off of that for sure.
Yeah, I don't believe in albums that are 30 songs. I don't like that, you know? So I'm going with the EP vibe, you know, like we'll do a couple of things and we'll have people like those. And if those are liked, then we'll do the next drop. And the next drop will be in a month or 2, and month and a half, you know, not too long wait, you know,
Right,
we'll have new
right.
products. Yeah.
Yeah. And,
Fun stuff.
you know,
Fun.
we're here in this building. We're huge cannabis lovers, obviously, and we love talking to other cannabis lovers, especially ones that share such a deep passion with the plant like you do. And so we can't let you go without asking you, you know, what are you smoking?
Right now, what am I smoking? Like today, right now?
Yeah, today, right now.
I'm smoking our next product, which is we're doing a collab with Wonder Brett. And well, I have done it already. It's already grown, and we're packaging it next week for our second drop. We're dropping a pineapple OG, that Wonder Bread bread, which is amazing. It's like this boutique style of OG. It's really leveled. Tastes really good. I'm smoking on that, and I'm smoking on the church. I have the last of it. See, the thing with the church was an issue. We didn't know what we had, right? They didn't know, so we only had a small amount. So from the small amount, I took a head stash, and the rest are rolled in pre-rolls.
Savoring that for the next round, I'm sure.
Yeah, we've already planted a whole room now for the next one, but it's like 8 weeks away. So I'm going, man, let's do this. so yeah, if I can have church all day, I would, and that's what I'm. So yeah, I'm smoking on that, and then there's this. I also love Jack for daytime for me. Like a good Jack Harrow could take me all day.
It's tough to beat.
You know, yeah, man. So I'm smoking on some really cool Jack that I picked up, which might be something in our pre-rolls coming soon also. And also away from pre-rolls, I've decided, because we were going to stay away from flower, because I know a lot of people just want the joint. But you know what? The connoisseur in me says no. So the second drop will have flower of every pre-roll. So
that's good. I personally prefer flower. I appreciate a good pre-roll, but I love just the element of actively engaging with the flower, breaking it down, getting to know it intimately, and then being able to roll it up to my own size and preference, you know?
You and I got to hang out, because
I would love that, man.
I'm with you on that. So that's the reason why, because of that, because you said that, I think we need to have flower. You know what I mean? Because some like that, you want to get close with it. Also, some people don't want to spend $20 on one high. They want to put some in a pipe. They want to put some in a bong. They want to take some. They want to take 1 hit. They don't want to take 20 hits. So I get it. So second drop, we're gonna have the flower to represent the pre-rolls, the pre-rolls to represent the terps that we might use for our vapes. So I just want to keep things consistent and straight on.
Awesome. I love that. And I'm hyped to go out and find some of that church you keep talking about, and definitely look out for the bud drops on those second drops. And what about you, Bailey? What have you been hitting lately?
I think you already know, because we just pressed the Glow Sunrise into some rosin using your, what's it called? The rosin bomb rocket or whatever. Yes, so that, I've been dabbing that, smoking the flower version of it. We talked about it a few weeks ago, I think, in the episode, but it's got sort of that, like, really sort of acrid, sour, fruity, but just like
really
overwhelming
tropical vibes.
Yeah, it's got a lot going on in its flavor. So of course it was the rosin that was squeezed out of it was just out of this world.
Yeah,
so,
your apartment was bursting with terps.
It was a great day. Yeah, and then once I ran out of that, which was about 10 minutes later, I busted open the Purple Punch by House of Cultivar, which is a nice hydrocarbon extract. It's a cross of Larry OG and Granddaddy Purple. Of course, it just delivers this really, really euphoric, sort of dreamy in the couch high. So that's what I've got going on. So what about you, Will?
I have been dabbing on some Pie Face live resin, which is super delicious, sort of cherry fruity vibes with a doughy sweetness to it that's just really, really nice. The live resin is super saucy, so heavy on the terps. It's by probably who I would like stake my claim on as my favorite new extractor I've come across, and that's Cold Smoke Concentrates. They collaborate with Subdued Excitement here in Washington and do, I believe, all of their in-house extraction and just do a really stellar job. All their live resins are fire. They do terp testing on all their products, which is one thing I absolutely love and appreciate. So you can find all the stats and how much of which terpenes you're getting. Which is always cool as a consumer. And then aside from that, I couldn't go without a solventless kick.
Yep.
So I've been really enjoying the sour banana sherbet from Pacific Northwest Roots. That's single source, something they grow in-house and wash themselves. It tests at like almost 5.5% terpenes, which on a solventless extraction is pretty incredible. And like it's just full spectrum, tastes like you just consumed like a whole pound of the flower, but you just had a tiny little dab of the ice wax, and it's just really, really nice. It's a fun that's the ice wax I showed you guys at our sesh last week that I pressed out in front of you and showed you sort of how to prep a dab with ice wax.
Oh, that was ridiculous, just watching its form change, like with just the most subtle amount of heat.
Yep, just a little bit of heat and pressure, you press out your dab, and it allows it to vaporize really smooth and cleanly. And this stuff is really, really tasty and the best way to really encapsulate the flavors of a flower, in my opinion.
Oh, so good. Oh, I should have talked about the Delta 8. The Delta 8 concentrate from Oleum. It's basically, I want to talk about this because it's a really unique product that I don't think that we've talked about. So Delta 8 THC is basically just a slightly different compound from Delta 9, which is what we normally consume with cannabis products. But this is like a very sort of like, it comes in like this very clear syringe that you just dab, and the effects are a little bit different than you would find from a Delta 9 strain. Yeah, so the way that I would describe it is it's like a little less like racy in the head. It was a little bit more just like grounded and calm, but it was a really, really interesting experience. So if somebody really likes to dab but doesn't really like that sort of overwhelming cerebral energy, this would be a really good product to check out. So far, I know that this was done by Oleum. I don't know what other brands are working on it, but if you ever have a chance to like check out some novel cannabinoids or just other sort of chemical profiles that are unusual, do it and just experiment. It's really fun.
Yeah, it was a really cool experience. I had already taken a big THC dab, so I didn't get sort of the unadulterated experience, but something that I was super intrigued with and definitely want to try again.
You can borrow it.
Oh,
I don't
I'm
need
gonna
all of
take
it.
you up on that. Great. Well, that's it for this week's episode of What Are You Smoking? Shavo, thank you so much for joining us. It's been such a pleasure chatting with you about your passion for cannabis and obviously the music and your new brand 22 Red, which we know we'll be able to find at California dispensaries here real soon. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, brother. That was a pleasure.
Great. Well, we'll chat with you soon. Thanks to everyone out there for listening this week. If you enjoy What Are You Smoking, please be sure to rate it and review the show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. It's the best way to help other people find the show, and we appreciate it. If you want to get in touch with us here at the show, you can email whatareyousmoking@leafly.com. That's what are you smoking with no question mark at leafly.com. You can also follow Leafly on all the social media channels, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, where we are at Leafly. And of course, until next time, let's smoke. What Are You Smoking is a production of Leafly.com, the world's cannabis information resource. For more information on the strains and products mentioned in this episode, and to check out our other shows, visit the podcast page on Leafly.com. Our producer is Ian Chan, and our theme music is by Lucine from the albums A Certain Distance and Sensory Motor.